Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Friday, 27th day of December. Here we go. More on the halacha of boer, and that's selecting on Shabbos. Certain types of selecting are not allowed to be done on Shabbos, but when done under the right circumstances, then they don't really fall into the category of the selecting that's not allowed, and then you're allowed to do it. So I want to give you a specific that would be allowed in. Well, let's just get right to it. It'll explain itself. Let's say you have a jumble of cutlery, forks, knives, and spoons all jumbled up in your hand, and you want to set the table. Basically, you're going to, take out of your hand a fork and put it where the forks go on the table. You're going to take out of your hand a knife and put it where the knife is supposed to go. You're not allowed to do that under the wrong circumstances. Stay tuned and I'll explain that, because that's selecting, okay, and selecting is not allowed to be done. However, if it's right before the meal, then that type of selecting under this kind of circumstance will be allowed. So here it is in its specific. If you have a jumble of cutlery in your hand and you're setting the table at 10 to 12, because it takes 10 minutes to set the table and 12 o'clock is lunch, then it's fine what you're doing. You could have a jumble of cutlery in your hand. This is according to Rav Moshe Feinstein's Zatzal. A jumble of cutlery will be in your hand, and you'll put, as each one comes out of your hand, fork over here, knife over there, spoon over there. That is allowed to be done if it's right before the meal. If it takes 20 minutes to set the table, then you're allowed to start at 20 minutes before the meal, because sometimes when it's immediate, it will be permissible, and this is immediate. It takes 10 minutes to set the table, and you're doing this 10 minutes before the meal, so then it's totally allowed. But watch out for this one. And sorry, this is going to sound a little harsh, but this is what the halacha is. Let's say that you want to set the table, but you know that you're going to need to do a half hour or something outside the house right before lunch, like maybe even go to greet everybody at shul. So you feel like, okay, lunch is 12. 11:30 I'm going to go to shul to greet everybody, and it takes 10 minutes to set the table, so I have to set the table at 11:20 until 11:30. Well, sorry, that's not allowed. That's a type of boer where you're not doing it for immediate use. You're doing it 40 minutes before the meal. I know you're not free from 11:30 to 12, so therefore you feel like, well, I got to, but you're you're just not allowed to do this kind of selecting unless it's immediately before the meal. If you really, really, really wanted to do it this way, and you wanted to do it at a long time before the meal, the only way that that would be allowed was if the cutlery was already somehow in its proper unjumbled state. Like you had all the spoons in their spoon spot and all the forks were in their fork spot. Nothing was mixed together, so no borer is involved, and you're just taking out spoons from the spoon thing and putting them on the table in the right way. That you could do, 5 hours before the meal, because that wasn't a borer situation, because nothing was jumbled together. But if they're jumbled together, you can only do it right before the meal. That's the law. Thanks for logging on. Log and have a great Shabbos, and log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.